Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 and the Survival Series. Right, so you can probably tell there is no snow. And I have to say, the snow got even worse. It was a lot more deep after I slept that night, so the next month it did turn into really heavy snow, and it was actually probably only like maybe an hour ago in gameplay. And then all of a sudden, the trees changed and the snow disappeared. So because the temperature has risen. So we did have quite a bit overnight, but the snow is gone. Now, I've been busy, really busy. Bought a plough, £2,000 spent on this plough here, quite small, pretty standard. Again, everything seems to be reasonably priced if you buy it from Eastern Europe, which is what that I feel like that is Eastern European text. That's what I'm going to say. So this is definitely another piece of Eastern European kit on the farm, but it has done me the world of good. I mean, got a lot of stones now in the field, but I have extended this out and we've ploughed it all up. I thought I'd just make a start and get on with the field work because I know it's going to be pretty much a priority now. But let me just quickly show you on the map what I've done. So I've made a new field boundary, but I wanted to keep the old one just so I could show you how much we've expanded out. I'd say it's definitely increased it more than double. We've more than doubled that, probably a little bit more, maybe 150% I'd say on the original. So I think that's pretty good. So what we can do now, so if I go to this one, we can get rid of crop F1, delete that custom field, and then we've just got this one, crop 1 new. And I'll change it again to field 1. But this is the boundary now of the field, so it's all done. So also what I did as well, because there was a few trees that were quite close to the edge, I chopped down a couple more here, which is these two. This one was just a small one, but still a bit of money for us there. And I also did 3 around on the edge here, and this is quite a lot. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this turns out to be even more money. Now, like I said, it is March. We've got 1 month. We've pretty much got the end till the end of April to plant in these oats. So we need to probably get to work with. I don't think we're going to be able to remove the stones, and they are all large stones, unfortunately. If we just go over here, you'll be able to see. So if I just take off the wait a minute, mouse, there we go, mouse has come back now. If I just take off the needs rolling effect, you can see where the old field was, but the new one, you can see that I've still got all these large stones that unfortunately we're just going to have to keep in the field just because we can't afford an actual stone collector. If it was the small stones, we could roll them back in easily enough. But I think the next step is going to be lime. It's got to be lime. So we can get a small spreader with some lime. Go pick up some fertilizer as well, because we're going to need that. We'll only need 1 big bag of fertilizer, and we'll also probably need about, I'm going to say, at least 2 bags of lime, because we do use lime quite a bit in the game. So if we can get it limed and planted and maybe even fertilized, you never know, in this episode, then I think that's good going, because there's not much else we can do. We can roll it straight after we've planted, but the priority is to get it in the field. And also the bonuses have got quite a lot of wood to sell, so we're definitely going to have enough money for all this, fingers crossed. I don't know how much it's going to bring in, but it should bring in quite a bit. There is a good amount there. Now, I also just want to quickly point out, I decided to start using the enhanced vehicle mod on this save game. So in the bottom corner now, if I just bring up my mouse, you can probably see that this is the advanced vehicle mod. So good thing about it is I've set up on my stream deck in front of me a few custom icons, so I've got them all to the touch that I've got in the rear diff and the front diff. So right now currently the rear diff is locked. If I just quickly unlock that, there you go, you probably just heard that sound effect then. I've got front diff locked, and because this isn't 4-wheel drive, I've turned it off. As you can see by this vehicle, this is definitely just 2-wheel drive. There is no way in hell that these are going to be driven by anything at the front, as you can tell. Whereas the rear, this is where all the power is coming from, which does make it harder. It really does make this harder to play. So if I look at this one, again, this is just 2-wheel drive. If you look at this one though, you can probably just tell it's gone yellow. That means it's 4-wheel drive. Now, don't get me wrong, I could play with 4-wheel drive turned on. I can easily turn it back on, even though it wouldn't actually have it, this vehicle. But I am going to just try to see if I can play without it. Now, if it becomes impossible, because it does have an effect, if it becomes impossible to obviously use this vehicle, then what I'm going to do is obviously have to turn it back on, but I do want to try and be a bit more realistic, a bit more of a challenge on here. Again, I always say semi-realistic because you can't be 100% realistic, but you can try and be somewhat realistic. So we're going to try that. But yeah, it's really good. It comes with its own like GPS system, and it does actually work really well. It shows you the tracks. It shows you really good as you're turning as well. You can see the different passes as well, and they're all numbered. So it is a pretty nifty system. It's got a parking feature. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to try and use it with the GPS features on it as well, without obviously using Wopster's GPS, just because of the fact that that costs 15,000 to have, and I don't think really it costs 15,000 for us to have GPS. I mean, I know it's obviously controlled with the steering and all that stuff, so it would have a massive cost, it really would. But we're going to try. I need to put the PTO in there. So, what's going on here? There we go. It got there in the end. Yeah, so we're just going to try it this way because obviously we can't afford 15,000. I do want to still be able to use GPS. So let's lift that back up so we can actually turn. There we go. So we are just two-wheel drive at the moment. We are fully two-wheel drive. Now what I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to go and sell one load. Now the reason I'm doing it like this is just because we don't want to do it all in one go. We've been doing this for the last 2 episodes, so I think it just makes sense now to just sell a few and keep doing it every now and again. If the trees are chopped, which is the main thing, it means things are going to be easier. So if we just take maybe these 4, I think that'll be fine. Because remember, we are just two-wheel drive here, which is it's doing pretty well. I mean, it makes a massive difference not having the snow. Now, I could winch that further in, but we're not going to. We're just going to hope. Well, I wanted him to not hit that, but we got it. It worked. We got there. So in the last episode at the end, we got the bunker as well. So we are ready, pretty much, very soon to start cutting some grass. We just need to get obviously the collector that I showed you in the last episode. That crazy looking thing, but it's pretty cool. So I'm hoping that by the end of this year we'll have made quite a bit of money from silage, and also we'll have a field of oats harvested as well, and we'll sell that. Now we do need a few things before we even think about doing all that, but we're on the right track, I think. So let's see if we can sell all these. Nearly, very close. Let's chop some of this down. Big tree this is. We just got 4,400 pounds. That is insane. That really is insane. Didn't expect to get that much. That just shows how much money we're going to get. These trees though, over there, they were massive. I'm hoping I can pick up one of these pieces. I doubt I can. What? There we go. Let's do it again then. This one I surely can pick up. There we go. So let's nudge that one. Give that one a nudge. Nudge them up, and then finally nudge that. Nearly. Very close. So as soon as we've done this, like I said, we'll head up to the shop and we're going to go and buy ourselves everything that we need to start spreading some lime. Now we're going to need to take the trailer. We're also going to need to take the wheel loader. Now I'm hoping I can connect the wheel loader to the trailer. That would be the perfect solution. But again, we also need to bring back a spreader. So what I'm going to do quickly is just drop this off. We're up to 23,000 now, which is a massive increase, really. That's really good news. Let's drop that off and let's use auto drive and pay a worker to drive up for us to the shop while we take up the wheel loader and hopefully the trailer on the back, so we can bring back some lime and some fertilizer. Now I'm going to say this has 4-wheel drive. In my opinion, this has definitely got 4-wheel drive. It probably hasn't, has it? Actually, that does look like it might have. No, maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to say four-wheel drive on this one. I'm not 100% certain. It probably hasn't. Do you think that can connect to there? It looks like it to me. Oh, I don't think it can, you know. I think it might just be unable to connect that, which is a shame. It really is. Now, what I could do, I think it's the next solution, is just send this up to the shop. Bit of a drive for him, in all fairness, and then we're going to get in here into the Porsche, and we're going to sell the little bits that I've got on the back of here, and then we're going to connect to the trailer and go up. Now, I probably should have done it with the John Deere, and then this can bring back the spreader, because it's only going to be small, so this can bring back the spreader, but we're going to have to just do it a little bit different as we go up. But like I said, the aim is to get all the equipment we need. We can do this field, we can get it planted in this episode, and then I think we should be good. We really should then. So I have to back up the trailer and then take them out, just because if I bring the trailer to the side and try and like pick one up, it always just puts the strap on and off. So there we go, another £488 to add to the collection. So let's close that back up. We'll park this just out the way over here. We'll get hooked up to the trailer and then we'll get up to the shop. Right, so I thought while I'm here, I may as well just pop a bit of fuel in, because she is getting low and I haven't got any fuel left in the tank at the farm, which I do need to sort out. It's not a farm, it's a log cabin, but I keep forgetting that. I did actually see as well, completely off digressing here, but I did actually see a really nice log cabin mod that come out recently, and it made me think that it would have been perfect to have that one. It's a bit of an upgrade, so if we ever get a chance to upgrade, and even though we should probably maybe buy a brick building, but I have to say that log cabin is something maybe we could upgrade to. But then again, we are thinking long term here. I mean, there's plenty more things we need before that, like a shed. Even some kind of animal pasture might go down well as well. I was looking at the open pasture ones. They look pretty perfect for this kind of area. So, wrong tractor. Where are we? There we go. Let's turn that off. Turn everything off. Let's go have a look at the shop. I wonder if the lady is still COVID petrified. Wonder if she'll run away. Yep, she's gone. Oh well. Maybe one day I'll have a conversation with her. Right, so let's think about what we need. We're going to start off by obviously spreading some lines. We're going to be looking at the spreaders. Now, we are on a budget. We're on a massive budget here. The cheaper the better. 950 holds lime, perfect. 500 litres, probably going to be refilling it quite a bit, but 950 is right in our price range. 750, even better. Does hold a little bit less though. So is it worth it? What do we think? 250 to 330. Even though I do like the look of that one, probably a bit more than that one. I don't know why. But I think it's got that kind of vibe to it. Let's just have a quick look at this. So we can get a 330 litre. I think that's pretty nifty, I do. Is it Eastern European? Yes, it is. There's definitely some kind of European vibe to it. But I have to say, I think this is a well-made mod. For what it is, it's quite detailed. So, what's that bit at the bottom? Is that to protect the PTO? It looks like it. And trailer and hitch, £30. Now, we could get a different colour. I kind of like that colour. I'm going to go with the light blue. We're going to get this one for £330. It's £780. It does hold less than the other one, but do you know what? I actually really like this. I think it's spot on. We might be refilling quite often, but do you know what? It's not the biggest field in the world. We can make do with that. So let's get this for £780. So that's the first thing all done. The lady's just popped back in. She likes it when I buy things. So now we're going to need some lime. So let's have a look at the price of lime. We've got big bags at £350, and that holds 2,000 litres. Let's have a look at the pallets. Pallets of lime. Got quite a lot of mods on here now, so twine and net wrapping, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be quite a bit to go through. Some solid fertilizer there. A little bit cheaper, but we probably want to look at this, don't we? $4.50 for 2,000 litres there. It does make sense to get the big bags. That's what it's looking like. Is there any lime bags that look a bit different, that give a better price? So there's the one at the end, but that's exactly the same. But you know what? I actually like it. It's got a better texture to it, and it looks a little bit more realistic. In the sense of, don't get me wrong, Giants have to do their lizard ones, but obviously Yara is a proper company. So why not get some of these? Now, I think 4 bags is plenty. Now, I always say this, and then I end up running out of lime. But I'm going to say, this time around, 4 bags is plenty for that field. So let's get 4 bags. We can fit 4 bags on there, and we can also fit a bag of fertilizer, and we also need some seeds. So I think, let's get 4 of these. Job done. Lady's still there. She's happy. So yeah, fertilizer. Let's see what we got for fertilizer. So we probably don't need as much. We don't really need 2,000 litres, for example. 1,000 litres there for 1,800. Let's have a look. We've got some more here. That's a 500 litre bag of fertilizer for 1,000. So that's not bad, really. These are all 500 litres. There's a 600 litre one there for extra £100. These are 2,000s, but they're quite expensive. Don't really need that much, like I said. What are these? 500, 600. That's quite cheap there. 500 litres, that's the cheapest I've seen so far for £910. So yeah, let's just get one of these. One's enough. Job done. There you go. It should last us quite some time, and if we do get a chance to put it on the grass field, we can always use it for that. So now we need seeds, and I imagine again it's going to be cheapest to get a big bag. We may as well keep it uniform on the trailer, and 1,000 litres for £800. Let's see if we can find anything different. And then this is the exact same. This KWS 500 litres, and it's £400. Now I don't think we're going to use that much. I really don't. But do we want to be carrying more than we need? Probably not. So why don't we just go with the standard seed bag for £800 for 1,000 litres. There we go. So what we need now is to first 6, we could probably fit a little bit more on. I'm just trying to think. We need a seeder, and then we might need a roller as well, but we're doing well for money, 18,000. But I just looking at the amount of this episode's gone on. I know I'm going to be doing the last bit in a montage, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But I think, yeah, let's get a seeder. Let's get it sorted, and let's also get a roller. Why not? And then at least we've got the equipment we're going to need, because we can actually do all that in this episode. So she's gone again. Let's get ourselves a seeder, and doesn't really matter. Again, we're on a budget. Can't be looking at too much. What we could do though is actually look in the used vehicles to see if anything is standing out, which it isn't. We can't afford any of that. So let's go back over here into seeders, and 13,500. There's a £10,000 one there. Now there's also a 7 grand one. These are probably more in line from where I'm looking. I mean, that holds 19,000 litres, so we're not getting that one because that's ridiculously unrealistic. But this one, it's a 3 metre. It holds 700 litres. I think that's proper spot on. Now there's an £800 one over here. That is, I don't even know the size. It doesn't even say the size of it. But again, Eastern European. This is, that's where, if you want to save money, buy everything from Eastern Europe. I think that's the moral of the series so far. If you want to save money, buy it from Eastern Europe. Do I go with the really cheap one and take a bit of a risk? Or do I go with the other one that looks pretty reasonable? And we can probably rely on that. Do you know what? I'm actually going to play it safe. I'm going to go with this one. Now, I think it's pronounced Asaria. If it is, then spot on. But yeah, I'm going to play it safe and go with this one. £7,000. It'll still leave us with some pretty good money and quite a lot of logs left to sell. So let's buy this. Job done. And what we need now, finally, is just a roller. Now, I do know that there's one that stands out. It's £750. This one's not too bad at 4,500, but really, you can't go wrong with this. You can even get extensions, but I think for what we need, that's a spot-on roller. So that should be absolutely everything now. This basically means that we can crack on, do some field work, and yeah, we are good to go. So let's first just get everything set up. I'm going to obviously do some loading onto the trailer, but first I want to take back the spreader with the Porsche, because it's the slowest one, the slowest vehicle, so we should probably set this one going already. And then we might even put a bit of fur in this, a bit of lime, sorry. Nice little red PTO there. Lift it up and we'll go with some lime. And just to see how it performs really, because it might be able to do the job, but I just don't want it to back end out. I think that's alright. That seems to be spot on. So let's get up auto drive and we'll send it to home, even though we don't need to go all that way. It's a shame I didn't set up a point further closer to the field, but home will do. There you go. Off he goes with his tiny little spreader. Job done. Right, so what I'll do now quickly is I'll get all this loaded on to the trailer. We'll obviously take back the seeder as well. I'll have to do 2 trips for this. I'll have to come back for the roller and the seeder, but I'll get everything set up back at the farm. It's going to take me a couple of trips to do this, and then yeah, we'll make a start on the field. Right, so welcome back to the field. I've got all the kit back. It wasn't actually that bad because the beauty of it, the wheel loader dragged the roller, so that made things a lot simpler for me. But yeah, we got everything back. I did fill up this at the shop with fertilizer, so somehow it picked up fertilizer. Probably my fault, but it has now got lime in. So let's crack on with this and just see this how difficult this is going to be. I imagine this is going to be a lot longer than you probably want it to be, because of the fact that, in fact, that's not a bad spread at all. That really isn't. I'm quite happy with that. I mean, there isn't any animation of it spreading out, but we can at least see where it is going, and we are getting the lime on the field. That's the main thing. So we're going to start off by obviously doing the lime, and then we're going to move over to planting in the oats, and then we'll probably roll it and fertilise it, and I think that should be enough. That's a good start to this field, it really is, because we'll have 1 layer of fertiliser, and I think most of the ploughed area that I did was already layered, is already fertilised, so we'd only need to do a very small patch after that, and the rest should all be fertilised. So there we go, that's 350 litres of lime, and the Porsche is doing a good job. I mean, when you look at that spreader in the shop, it looked tiny, but then now it's on the back end of this Porsche, it actually looks pretty massive. There we go. But at least we've got plenty of it to go around. I mean, it's the one thing this field needs, which is a lot of lime. So I will be doing this probably myself, and then I'll set up the seeder as a course plate, and I'll also probably set up the roller as a course plate, just because I want to get a montage, and it makes things a lot easier when I do that. So what I'll do is I'll crack on with this. I'll get a bit of a montage going now of me doing this lime, and also then we'll move on to the other jobs, and by the end of it, hopefully this field will be all ready, and all we'll need to do is let it grow and obviously keep track of the weeds, because that is going to be a problem.
Didn't know I was looking, but I must have been. 'Cause you got me cooking up a mind of sin. You were no good, and I was no better. Basking in your spotlight, too blind to see. It was a case of mistaken identity. I thought you were my love. A clear case of mistaken identity. I thought you were. Yes, it was. Oh, yeah. It was a case of mistaken identity. I thought you were my love. Just a case of mistaken identity. I thought you were. It was a case of mistaken identity. I thought you were. A clear case of mistaken identity. I thought you were my love. It was a case of mistaken
Right, so welcome back. That was a big job. That took some time. Definitely did. I used course plate for the seeder and also for the fertilizer at the end, but I couldn't use the roller. It didn't seem to work with course plate, so I'll do that in between this episode and the next. I did do the edge, but the field itself is pretty good condition. It's a bit patchy because of the fertilizer and the stones. Definitely a bit of a negative on that side. But you know what? Overall, that was pretty useful. I definitely got a lot done in this episode, and it should give us a good yield. So let's just have a quick look at this for a bit of information. You can see that it is patchy, but I've always found on No Man's Land you do get a bit of a patchy effect when it comes to fertilizer. So even though this area here should be fully fertilized, there is a bit there that's not, and there, so on. But I will be going over this patch again eventually, probably after its first growth stage, and I might see if I can sort that out. But the stones, unfortunately, they're going to have to stay just because it takes a lot of money to get a stone collector. And as you can see, I definitely need to roll the field, and we can do that. I might even buy 2 extra rollers to attach to this one that make it a little bit bigger, and definitely will help things out because it is quite small. It's probably the smallest kit that I've got. But everything else worked a treat. Spreader, the seeder, all that did a really good job. And we have got quite a bit of money. We're sitting at 9,700. We've got to sell all these logs here. We've got plenty more trees to go at. And then we will be needing a harvester and a trailer. So harvester and a trailer and the collector, and that's all we'll need. And we should make some good money. We really should. But I am looking forward to doing my first yield on this survival series. So I'm glad that the oats are in the ground. So I think all we need to do now is do the rolling, then we'll wait, we'll do a bit of fertilising. We'll probably do the grass work then at some point, maybe in between them two, or even after fertilising a second time around. Depends what happens first. But yeah, the grass work is definitely going to be the main focus next. And then I think all we need to do after that is wait for harvest, and we should be good to go. So hopefully coming into the winter time, we might be able to have a bit of money together to invest, who knows, in maybe a proper tractor that's got 4-wheel drive, not a 2-wheel drive tractor, and even maybe a bit of a shed to put in the back where we've been making a clearing. That would be pretty good. But it has been a productive episode. It definitely has. So on that note, I am going to leave the video there. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up because that really does help my channel out. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.